already. This is going to be exciting.
And the ARCA restart zone to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
It's the second day of June, and summer is here in Goat Locker Racing. Welcome to the first race of the summer season of the Glove Station ARCA Series, and we're going to start it off at the beach in Daytona. We'll be running 50 laps here tonight, and we're going to have it all for you live here on V-Speed. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined up in the booth tonight by Dave Regal, and we've got Michael McCarthy in the producer's chair. Dave, we got a packed 8-week schedule ahead. Do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's great to be with you, Sky, and of course Michael here on the ones and twos and everything in between. This summer schedule is packed with some really great racing here in the ARCA Series. We start off, of course, tonight here at the World Center of Racing for Daytona. Then next Monday night, we're going to go over there and we're going to distill some great bourbon there in Kentucky, and I'll tell you what, I love that racetrack. It's exciting. Then we go right to the breadbasket of all things NASCAR, and that, of course, is Darlington. We head down to the Sunshine State on the 23rd of June to, of course, go see our friends at Homestead, Miami. We head on up back to the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic states. We get that 1 mile monster in Richmond. Then we head to Thunder Valley at Bristol. We go west to Auto Club, which, of course, Auto Club in that configuration can only live here on iRacing.com. And then we wrap things up for the championship week at Old Atlanta, which, of course, once again, can only exist here on iRacing. And I think that that's one of the things that makes this platform so special.
It is, for sure. We've got a lot of great racetracks coming up over the next 8 weeks, but tonight's racetrack is Daytona, and we're going to get the track info up here for you. 2.5 miles in length, 31 degrees of banking in the corners, one of the NASCAR's first tracks, opened all the way back in 1959, and it's located in Daytona Beach, which really makes it the perfect place to kick off a summer series. We've got a great field tonight. Over 30 cars are here to compete in this summer series. It's going to be packed, it's going to be fun, and we're so excited to see what these drivers have for us in these ARCA cars.
Yeah, I think something that we miss a lot of times, especially in the beginning of the season where everybody's excitement is just, spiked through the roof, is that we're only a few miles away from where this sport got its start on the sands of Daytona. Of course, you can still go over there to the beach and check that out and go for a drive on the beach itself here in Daytona. And what an experience that is. I mean, 2.5 miles around this piece, 50 laps the scheduled distance. These drivers are going to have 4 total sets of tires with a fast repair in their pocket. God forbid something bad should happen. And different for this season from seasons past, that fuel load in these cars is going to be up to 65%. So last year, of course, and during the spring season, we had 60% fuel. So that's going to change some of that strategy, especially at a place like Daytona.
Yeah, we're thinking it'll likely be a one stop tonight, but if this goes green, might need 2 stops here with these ARCA cars on that 65% fuel limit. Tires won't be a concern. They never are at Daytona, and with 3 sets left over in the pits, you've got more than enough in case you get in an accident and smoke them a little too much. As you mentioned, that one fast repair in case you do get in an accident, and this is one of the easiest tracks to get in an accident at, especially when the track temperature is what it is right now. We're looking at 120 degrees, the pavement of Daytona. So these drivers are going to be sliding around. It's going to be a lot of fun here. We've got 35 seconds left in qualifying, and once we're done with that, we'll get you out onto the racetrack and we'll get you the grid for tonight's race. And I'm looking at the up front here in qualifying. We've got a lot of interesting names up here. Some new drivers, some old drivers, a lot of different people up here at the front.
Yeah, and continuing his league dominance is Mark Whitley. I mean, last season, during the spring, he lit things up between ARCA and trucks, at least what I saw from our booth. And I'll tell you what, he's continuing again tonight, sits atop the timing tower at 51.08 seconds. Travis Trussell, another name that's new here, but it looks like the grid is about to load up here as things just wrapping up for qualifying.
For sure, these drivers are going to get to the grid here in just a second. They'll be all ready to go for tonight's race. As mentioned, we got a pretty big field tonight out here in the ARCA series. 33 cars set times, or were out on track in qualifying. 29 of those set some lap times. So we're going to have a full field out here tonight. We're going to take you down to the racetrack here in just a second, and we will get that starting grid rolling for you here shortly. You can see everyone lined up, ready to go. Those 33 ARCA cars taking to the grid for your starting lineup here tonight. In just a second, we'll get that up for you, but I'm looking towards the front row. As you mentioned, Mark Whitley is on pole, ran under a 51.1. Great lap time for him. Travis Trussell, second, 51.098. Mark Whitley taking home the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award here tonight. Third place is going to be the 79 car of Christian Angel. Fourth, the 35 of David Calvert. Kyle Odanek's going to be fifth in the 46. Casey Jones on his outside in the 34. Seventh will be Joseph McWhorter in the 72. Brandon Wallace, eighth in the 99. And rounding out your top 10 will be the 808 of Brett Bieber and Jacob Ellingson in the 27.
Jake Ellingson rounds out your top 10 with Sean Kaiser starting on the inside of row number 6. He's going to be joined there in 12th position by Phoenix, Arizona's Jamie Libke back in the 16 Lambda Legal machine. Chance Taylor and Chuck Pegleg Phelps makes a return to the series this season here in the 75 Save 22 Ford Mustang. Matt Knights and Doug Ellingson going to be starting in 15th and 16th with Alan Smith to the inside of row number 9 alongside of Ryzen Baker. Rounding out your starting top 20 is Brock Price in the 43, and in that 44 going to be John Huchin out of Bloomington, Indiana. And apparently his last name is pronounced How Chin, so keep that in mind this season.
21st going to be Ricky Sisk Jr. in that 12 car. Barrett Morton 22nd in the 9. James Goshen rolls off 23rd in the 085. Sedarius Dias 24th in the 45. 25th will be Douglas Macedo in the 173. Tyler White 26th in the 63. 27th, Jacob Lanke in the 37. And it'll be Colton Sisk in the 96 in 28th. Last car to set a qualifying lap time was Kevin Price in the 80. Levi McCarty in the 21. Always fast. He'll roll off 30th. And the last 3 cars on your field tonight will be Mikhail Jones, Noah Hoggard, and Bobby Whitley in 33rd.
Of course, we always, by this point in the race, or at this point in the evening, looking back toward the front, we want to thank our friends at Jam Printing and Promotions for sponsoring our Pole Award. They are veteran certified, and when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company.
We're going to have 50 laps for you here tonight from Daytona. Pit road speed, 55 miles an hour. As mentioned, 3 tire sets available in the pits, but we likely won't be needed more than one of them. That pit road speed, as you see the pace car pull down, is going to be really tricky if we do end up making green flag stops because of that 65% fuel load. And we got one faster pair if we need them. Front row of Mark Whitley and Travis Trussell. Green flag is out. We're away at Daytona.
Nice steady start to this one as we haul things down into turn number 1. All of a sudden we see at the high line there's a lot of speed locked up in there. Travis Russell on the run with the low jump 35 driven by David Calvert just behind. And all of a sudden out of nowhere the 41 drops down, and that high line is almost all night long.
Absolutely. You can really make runs on that high side here at Daytona. The low line can work, but when you go single file, you tend to see drivers favor that high line a little bit. We'll see if we get single file, how that shakes out tonight. This race is 50 laps, though, so I think these drivers are going to be really willing to push forward and try to get up front with the limited laps available to them. Whitley is pushing Trussell hard, and Whitley will jump up to the outside and try to get that run. 46 of Kyle O'Danix going to fill the hole on the bottom, and we'll see if he can push. That's 41 car, Travis Trussell back out ahead on the bottom.
Ole, Pennsylvania's very own Brett Bieber in the 808 Lucky Charms machine this season, starting to hold things together here in 11th position. I know that 11th sounds like it's pretty far back, but here at Daytona, that's only a fraction of a second. 74 of Mark Whitley now with a little bit of a breakaway here in front of the 79 and the 35 of David Calvert. Christian Angel Rowdy in the 79 out of Easley, South Carolina, new to the series as well. Oh,
they're
my.
wrecking.
There they go.
That's a couple cars involved back there. Some hard hits down into the inside wall. Ryzen Baker took a big hit. Barrett Morton also very heavily involved with some contact there. We are still green on the racetrack. Those drivers crashed to the inside wall, but this is going to be a major shakeup. Everyone from about 10th place or 11th place on back has lost this lead draft. So these front 10 cars are the only drivers really racing for the win right now, and then it's a big gap back to Huchin and Dias back there, 11th and 12th, and then the leader of the next line, Matt Knights and James Goshen.
Now, I'm watching Doug Macedo here in the 173 running in 13th position. He's closing the gap now on Cedarius Dias in the 45, who is loose as a goose behind John Houchin in the 44, and it looks like he's trying to get up there, but I mean, right now the 45 just absolutely all over the 44, trying to bump him down the front stretch. Brett Bieber lays fast time down at 47.85 seconds as he now trails the 99 of Brandon Wallace by about a tenth of a second. We're going to see that gap just about evaporate.
Two pretty distinct packs now in the lead one. Definitely seems to be faster. They've got a 7.5 second lead after that accident there, involving a couple cars in the mid-pack. Biggest losers as a result of that: Tyler White, Barrett Morton, Doug Ellingson, Chuck Feltz, and Ryzen Baker, all taking some pretty heavy damage as a result. And they're not going to get that fixed under caution here because we stayed green. So some of those cars are making pit stops to try to get the damage fixed. Others are just riding around, hoping a caution can come out for them before they have to go a lap down. Still side by side for the lead here between the two cars we saw on the front row. It's Mark Whitley and Travis Trussell, and they're being pushed. Oh, big down to the inside there for Travis Trussell. Got a little push, a little loose off the corner. He'll back out, go to the rear of the field, and that inside line is now going to be led by the 46 car.
Kyle Adanek here in the 46, as you had mentioned, in that Ford Mustang out of Lisbon, Connecticut, holds just ahead of the 72 of Joseph McWhorter. Now, McWhorter had a great season back in the spring. He's back for more, of course, in the summer series. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here on V-Speed. Thank you for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be. And however you may be listening, you're watching the Glove Station ARCA series, part of the Goat Locker family of racing. And I'm telling you right now, folks, if you just tuned in, this is some racing that you can't miss. Watch the 46 getting a run now. A little side draft off the 35, and now that high line has all the momentum.
I mentioned it earlier. If we go single file here, I think you're going to see these drivers try to go single file around the top. That's usually the fastest lane to do it, and it can make it really hard to get a run going on the inside. Single file on the top with a couple cars trying to drop down to the bottom. Back here in this second pack, this is being led by that 173 of Douglas Macedo. He is trying to pull this line back up to the lead group, but they are so far back from your leaders right now. It's still a 7.4 second gap. Macedo up to Whitley, and they really need to get that line organized if they're going to push it.
Now that gap from Macedo to Whitley is pretty deep, but overall, if you start looking here at this gap, they're only about 6 seconds. And as long as Macedo was up there, they were closing the gap. They were down to 5.8 seconds, but they've just done another reshuffling. And now James Goshen ahead of that second group out of Cambridge, Ohio, with Mark Whitley leading the way. The 72 of Joseph McWhorter dropped down here to the inside of the pile. And, I mean, all things considered, McWhorter is the kind of driver where, you know, he's still trying to figure things out. I mean, we're 8 laps in. It's still really early in this race. I mean, you know, usually if it's 8 laps to go, that's when you should start to get nervous.
Yeah, the laps here are so quick because we don't have that many laps to run. 8 laps is not a very long race at Daytona. So these drivers are, I'd say, a little more aggressive here than they would be in a longer race, like a 100-lap race, because they know their time is limited to get it to the front. That backpack is starting to gain a little time. The gap from Goshen up to Whitley down to 7 seconds. The gap from Goshen to Trussell, who's the last car in this pack, is 6.2. And that's as a result of this group being single file, while the group behind them, or this group being double file, excuse me, while the group behind them is single file. That's what's letting those cars start to slowly close in. The only thing that's slowing them up is they're double file all the way around the bottom, or they're single file all the way around the bottom, which isn't really the preferred line if you're going to run it in the lead.
Well, and you know, that's one of those things where when you're sitting up here in the broadcast booth, we can say that all day long until we're blue in the face, but until somebody's spotter gets on the radio and says, hey, move up a little bit. And the other thing is moving up to that higher line. It does tighten the car up just a little bit. It makes you a little bit more stable. Down here against the yellow line, that thing wants to dance out from under you, especially here in these ARCA cars. You know, they have a tendency to try to dance out and scoot away from you.
I'm not sure if we can get a replay of what happened to Joseph McWhorter. And, well, the caution's out for a separate incident at the back of the field. Douglas Macedo tore up bad in that 173 car from a wreck in that second, or in a pack further back. I was going to mention we had a big shakeup for the lead. There was nearly a wreck up in second. This is a different wreck. It's Douglas Macedo in the 173 torn up. There's some other cars involved in this further back, and it was a very interesting incident, to say the least, back there. Contact with Sean Kaiser in the 29 was the result of that, and I'm not really sure about that one.
No, this is one of those where, you know, the most thankless job in all of motorsports is to be an iRacing admin who's doing race control and trying to make the call on that.
Yeah, we're going to try to find it here. We're going to, if we can find this, we will get that to you. But it looked like Sean Kaiser was trying to make a move around the outside of Douglas Macedo there in the 173 with the run coming down into the corner, and Macedo kind of just went up and doored him, put them both in the wall, and really only wrecked himself there, along with some pretty heavy damage to Ricky Sisk in the 12. So that's the two drivers heavily involved in that. We had one further up that's given a lot of drivers some damage on lap 9 on that inside line. McWhorter kind of got punted going down into turn 2. really shook up that line, sent a couple cars, most notably the 79 of Christian Angel, into the outside wall. So you've got some cars who are running up here in the top 10 who now have damage and are going to make their way down pit road.
And now wholesale pit stops here in Daytona Beach as Mark Whitley going to slide right there into his pit box in the old number 1 stall. Looks like everybody comes on down except for Colton Sisk, Bobby Whitley, and just a few other drivers smattered throughout here as they're going to try to get a lap back. Looks like Jacob Lenke and Tyler White going to cycle to the top of the timing tower. I don't know if I'd be okay with that, but tire grip here not as major as what you would find at one of the intermediate or especially short tracks.
Yeah, these drivers are going to work their way out of the pits here right now as they get back on the racetrack. We have some cars who have stayed out. A lot of cars made that stop for fuel primarily. Jacob Lenke and Tyler White both stayed out on the racetrack. I think Jacob Lenke might have actually missed his pit box, and that's why he's still out there. First car out back on the track with fuel will be David Calvert, followed closely by Jake Ellingson and Casey Jones.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and of course our good friends over at Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. Go ahead and check out glovestation.com and check out their wares over there. And I'll tell you what, I've been on Glove Station's website a couple of times. I'm outfitting my guys at work with it.
Hey, there you go. That's good application for Glove Station right there.
I am more than happy to make sure that I'm using what we're selling.
There you go.
When we get ready to go back...
Oh, sorry, I was going to say Jacob Lenke is going to pull it back into his pit box here. He did miss the box last time around. So your only driver really staying out will be Tyler White in the 63.
As I was about to say, when we go back green flag racing, it looks like Jacob Lenke was going to shuffle back. Tyler White's going to lead us back to green. He's going to be joined by David Calvert, Jake Ellingson, Casey Jones, Kyle O'Danick, Travis Trussell, James Goshen, Brandon Wallace, Mark Whitley, and Matt Knights. Your restarting top 10. First time we've had to watch the caution fly tonight. And I'll tell you what, that's not characteristic of these drivers in the ARCA series. And of course, during the spring series, we have the Pro Division and the AM Division. These guys are having an all-out battle during the summer series, and I'm excited to see what happens, you know, now that everybody's in the same pot instead of being separated by Pro and Am.
Yeah, that's the major difference here between the spring series and the summer series, is we did eliminate that distinction between pro and amateur drivers. So you've got everybody out here racing for the same points, racing for the same championship, and that's going to really shake things up here over the next few weeks. We got a great field tonight, as we mentioned, almost a full field, and we're going to hope to have that over your next 8 weeks here for what should be some really exciting racing. Tyler White is kind of in an interesting fuel position right now. He is the only driver that did not come down for fuel. He's kind of on his own program, 12 laps away from anybody else on this pit strategy. If we get a quick caution, he might still be good, but if we get another green flag run, he might be in trouble.
Want to thank everybody for tuning in to the youtube.com live chat. See a lot of activity in there tonight. Gray Cross saying good luck to Colton. Jamie Libke giving us the old vroom vroom. Then Eddie Smith, of course, being missed by Brandon Wallace. And listen, folks, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you are commenting in the live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for, what you're watching, and what you're excited to see tonight as the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. With control of the field is Tyler White in the 63. They hit the Geico restart zone, and we're back underway at Daytona International Speedway.
And White did not get going at all. He's getting hit from behind, and we're going to have a big one in front of the field on the restart.
It's pandemonium just past the start-finish line. David Calvert's going to scurry away from the mess, but the caution flag flies, the damage is done, and the feelings are absolutely hurt. Oh my.
That took out about 5 or 6 cars there with heavy damage. We'll get the Glove Station ARCA Series replay right here. Tyler White just didn't get going. He was getting pushed from behind by Jake Ellingson. into the outside wall, back down to the inside, and while he's spinning down there, we got more cars wrecking on the top, piling into that accident in the midfield. A lot of cars going to have to use their one fast repair after that, especially that 12 car. Look at that damage for Ricky Sis.
Yeah, I always say when these kind of things happen, especially, you know, in an accordion fashion like that, it reminds me of when my kid plays with the cars on the floor and just throws them everywhere. I mean, this is just a nightmare, especially because they were going for the restart here, and it bottles up worse than the traffic on I-76.
The worst part of that for a car like Ricky Sisk is he already used his fast repair. He got caught up in that last caution. Now he's got his nose off that car again. That's going to be probably day-ending damage for that 12 car, Ricky Sisk, only on lap 14. Never a good feeling when you wait so long for a series to start and it just ends so quickly like that.
Yeah, this is not the kind of environment where you want that air-cooled grill. You want everything buttoned up in a place like Daytona. I mean, this is just, that's really upsetting for folks like that, especially here, first race of the season, and that means that moving forward, you know, as we go into the second, third, fourth weeks, they're going to have to race that much harder to try to regain the ground that they're now losing in the point standings.
We're hearing from race control that the issue on that restart was that Tyler White restarted in the wrong gear. Looked like he was trying to fire off in either third or fourth, and the car just didn't go like it needs to, and that was what stacked everybody up. Pit stops are going to be underway for a lot of the cars who took damage there in that accident. The top 13, 14 drivers will stay out, but everybody from Mark Whitley, who was up front on back, is going to come down, put some fuel on that car, and try to help their fuel mileage here to the end of the race. That 65% fuel level halfway is likely going to be about the distance to where you're able to make it. So for now, these drivers are just taking some extra fuel so that they can run it as long as they can.
It's going to be David Calvert, Casey Jones, Travis Trussell as we follow the iRacing.com pace car here around Daytona International Speedway. 2.5 miles designed by Big Bill France back in 1959. And this place, when it opened, nobody had ever seen anything like it. I mean, you know, they went from racing on the beach to this asphalt palace. And I mean, now it's just insane.
Yeah, it's a huge facility. It's still the second biggest track in NASCAR behind Talladega. This thing is big and fast, and you've seen that already today. Can also breed some big accidents like we saw on that restart. It's going to be David Calvert back on the front row when we get back going in this race. Casey Jones second, Travis Trussell third, Jake Ellingson will be P4. He was involved in that accident, but he's going to keep it out there. Doesn't think he took too much damage in that 27 car.
Just taking a look here at David Calvert out of Clover, South Carolina. And I mean, you know, here in the Hendrick cars, so yeah, there we go, David Calvert in the 35. I'll tell you what, that Bojangles car, I don't know if they have Bojangles where you're from, but my goodness, this man here is making me hungry for some fried chicken.
I don't know. I might have to check on that. I live in Oklahoma, so I don't think we see too many of those around here. Yeah, we don't got any around here. A little bit further east, a little bit further down towards Texas. We are in a Bojangles desert, unfortunately.
Oh, but you've got those Buc-ee's that I hear so much about.
We do. Texas mostly has them. We don't got one of those either. What we got is Brahms. That's good.
Gotcha. We've got Wawa here in Philadelphia.
Always good. I love Wawa too. I'm gonna get hungry after this. David Calvert, I'm blaming you.
Yeah, you know what? It's fine. I went on a weight loss journey, and he's about to derail me. Taking a look here at the 41 of Travis Trussell out of Freeport, Florida, in the Steel Machine. He's a new driver here to this series, and I'm curious to see how he's going to handle things moving forward.
Yeah, we've got a couple new drivers out here, mixed with a couple of old drivers. James Goshen's been around here in this series for a while, 7th in that 085 car. Started out back in 23rd, but has dodged a lot of the chaos earlier on in this race. He's gotten that thing in a pretty good position here, restarting on that inside line. Same with the 02 of Mikhail Jones, rolling off 31st tonight. He's already driven that car up to 8th. They'll be starting in row 4. Those are a couple cars who have really been on the move.
Looks like we should be just about, let's see here, 20 cars back here. Everybody's still on the lead lap, which, I mean, you know, at least everybody out on the racetrack at the moment. Nope, now it just changed for me. 22 cars on the lead lap. Colton Sisk would be your lucky dog.
I think just looking at this right now, it looks like we're going to have 28 cars. We got kind of stragglers catching us in the back. I'm not entirely sure here. What iRacing is telling me and what the ticker is telling me is two different things. So I think that'll get sorted out once we go green. And we are not going to go green this time. We are going to extend the caution because we still have some cars at the back there trying to catch up to the back of the field. So once we get back green, we'll get those laps sorted out before we'll be able to figure out who is exactly where. I think part of the issue is that Tyler White is seemingly on the wrong lap right now. He's being scored a full lap ahead of everybody. So I think Tyler White might have accidentally gone around an extra time, and that's what's kind of throwing everything off right now.
Nothing like having a computer score you.
Yeah, that on iRacing, he's currently showing as a minute and a half ahead of everybody. So he's going to have to sort that out. Might have gone around an extra lap, and we're going to work that out right now. He's gotten an EOL penalty, and he has ducked through the pits, so he's going to try to get this worked out. We're going to try to go back green here with the front row once again of David Calvin and Casey.
Travis Trussell, Jake Ellingson, and Kyle Adanek here in the 46 machine out of Lisbon, Connecticut. And you know what? This is another new name here. We're going to have to get used to some of these. I mean, a lot of these I remember from last season. And the spring season, folks, if you didn't get a chance to see that, you can always run those replays back. They are just... These guys are out here, you know, sometimes you look at an ARCA series and you think, they're not that good. Listen, the cars may be virtual, the racetrack may be virtual, but my goodness, the competition is so real.
Oh yeah, all these drivers want this win so bad, and you'll see that once we get down to the final 5 laps of the race. These races get even more crazy than an actual NASCAR race at Daytona because everybody wants the win so bad, and if you're anywhere close to that lead at the end of the race, you're going to go all out for that victory. We are going to extend the caution once again here, so we'll do another lap under yellow. We still have not figured out Tyler White being on the wrong lap. I think either they're going to have to black flag him a lap, or he is going to just have to pull into the pits and sit there for a full time around, because he's still being scored 1 lap ahead of everybody else.
All I can picture right now next to us over in the race control booth is just papers flying and, you know, people screaming. I don't know. I can't figure out where to put him, and he certainly doesn't belong where he is. You can't park there, sir.
Yeah, I'm not sure if iRacing maybe told him to do something that he wasn't supposed to do, and that's how he ended up in that situation. He's going to stop here just shy of the start-finish line so that everybody else can go another lap around and catch up to him. But if he's still sitting there at the start-finish line, I have to imagine we might end up having to do another lap potentially because that 63 car is still there. We're going to have to work all this out. We'll see if we go back green this time now that everybody will be able to get around Tyler White's 63 machine.
Without a doubt, you know, still trying to get caught up with some of the newer drivers. But let's take a look here at Jamie Libke in the number 16 machine. Talk about somebody who had a great end to their season last year. I mean, didn't get the championship win, unlike, of course, our fearless leader, Eddie Smith, who went the father-son way here. But, you know, here's the thing. I saw Jamie Libke take it into the championship four and had to race her way into that championship four. I mean, somebody who gets all the credit in the world out of Phoenix, Arizona. What a serious workhorse attitude and work ethic.
For sure. She's got a great chance up there in 13th right now, or in 12th right now when she gets past Tyler White. Started 12th, running 12th at the minute. Looks like we are going to do another lap under caution, but we will go back green 2 times around from now, so it will be lap 20 when we finally get the field rolling again. Tyler White is parked there on the start-finish line so everyone can go by him.
Well, since he's going to sit there, at least he can wave at the fans, maybe get his seat belts adjusted. stretch his legs out, pop that clutch for just a second, and give himself a break. I know that that's frustrating, and I know that he doesn't want to be in this situation. And, here, at least in the virtual world, that's not his fault. That's something that we deal with all the time on the iRacing.com servers. We're just, iRacing tells you to do one thing. It throws the timing and scoring off because you think that you're following what it's telling you. And, if you were in a public race forum, yeah, that would never happen. But here, because we have the human element, if you will, these kind of things can happen. It happens, but not often.
So we'll be going back green with 30 cars on the lead lap now. Sean Kaiser, Matt Knights back in 29th and 30th will be the last two on the lead lap. And then we've got Ricky Sisk 2 laps down with some damage. Chuck Phelps 15 laps down. Everybody else still out on the racetrack at the minute. So we've got a lot of cars left, but a lot of cars have had to use that early fast repair. That half the field actually has had to use that early fast repair, and they're not going to have it left for the rest of this race. So certainly going to come down to maybe a little bit more careful driving for some of those guys who have taken the fast repair, trying not to get caught up in incidents so that they're still able to be there at the end.
Yeah, drivers clamoring to get themselves ready now, and here's the thing. Sometimes what this does is it can lull you into a false sense of security, especially over the last several laps now that we've had under caution. So, you have to wonder, is everybody going to be ready? Did those tires cool down maybe a little bit too much? And might we see the cold tire bug come out and make its ugly appearance?
We'll see. These tires are certainly going to warm up pretty quickly with the 121-degree track temp tonight. Daytona very hot this time of year, so these drivers are going to have to deal with a hot racetrack that'll certainly warm up these tires once we get going, but we might have some issues with cold tires on this restart after 5 laps of caution. It'll be David Calvert, Casey Jones, 1-2. We enter the Geico restart zone, and the green flag drops for David Calvert.
David Calvert leads us out of the tri-oval and hauls the male down toward turn number 1. They start going single file behind him now as the 34 of Casey Jones drops to the low side. He's going to bring along the 27 of Jake Ellingson, the James Goshen, the 085. Most of these drivers now starting to look for that single file action here as John Houchin in the 44 going to lead what should be the next group as he's now tandem up with Brock Price in the 43.
Houchin and Allen Smith didn't get going on that restart, and they got those top 9, 8 cars way away from everybody behind them. That's why they're running about a second ahead of Houchin. Although that 44 car is starting to close back in, it's a very spread out field here for a restart at Daytona. Some cars just struggled to get it moving. I think we will see these packs slowly come back together. That second group currently being led by the 16 car. He is back up here to catch the rear end of this group, and we should have everybody all together.
The finger licking good double zero Toyota Camry driven by Alan Smith out of North Mississippi, falling back like a stone in the river. Not sure what happened there, but he was just up with the 9 of Barrett Morton, and all of a sudden it's like, there was a parachute on the 00. Now Jamie Lewis drafting up just behind John Houchin in the 44, and we're starting to see a nice organized through that.
Back double file. We were trying to go single file up there on the top, but we've got cars making moves down to the inside, like the 14 of Chance Taylor right there on the inside of Kyle O'Danick in that 46. Steal the lead away from Jake Ellington in that 27 machine. The top few cars all spread out here. Top 14 are in a pack while everybody else is slow, and we're double file still. Ellington has that speed on the top. We'll see if he stays ahead down here as he exits turn 4. Chance Taylor is certainly pushing.
Yeah, taking a look at Chance Taylor, I mean, if Travis Trussell was smart, he'd just kind of hang out behind Chance Taylor because, I mean, right now, Taylor is going to be your fuel pig. You can go a little less than 4 and save some of that fuel. And now the 46 pushing the 27 of Jake Ellingson. So O'Danick and Ellingson holding control of the top line. Then, of course, the 0-2 of Michael Jones, that Toyota Mobile 1 machine, starting to get pushed away here by the 085, the low line getting a good run. They're going to have to get organized on the high side as, Ellingson in the 27 out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is leading what just seems to be a parachute line.
That inside lane definitely has gotten that momentum away from that 27 car. He looked so steady on the top, but now that group of 4 cars on the bottom as Ellingson is into the outside wall, and we're wrecking hard behind them. 2 cars with major damage down through the infield. Ooh, and some ARCA brakes back here.
Oh, that's not going to make anybody very... Oh, and the 79 just for fun since we were in the neighborhood. Good Lord. I mean, that kind of broke out early. I mean, the 46 was pushing the 27 pretty hard as we go to the weekend. And I mean, I thought that it was a good push. It didn't look bad, but sometimes all it takes is one ill-timed push, and boom will go the proverbial dynamite.
Absolutely. It was just coming out of the corner here, being pushed by that 46 car. Got him loose, turned him around, one big hit there to the side of the 27, then in comes the second pack, Douglas Macedo, the car that gets into Ellingson right there. And he's going to come down the track into that 79 car at Christian Angel.
Oof. What a mess. 3 cautions now, and that one just doesn't taste good.
Not at all. We're going to be about halfway through this race here. That is entering the pit window here. We think it's about halfway that these drivers can make it on 1 tank of fuel. So if everybody comes down here on this caution, expect to see them potentially good to the end of the race if we get another caution or if we get some fuel saving.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in here to the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series right here on YouTube.com on V-Speed. Of course, Dave Regal alongside of Sky Shrek and Michael McCarthy, the pride of Matamoros, Pennsylvania, on the 1s and 2s and everything in between. Go ahead over to goatlockerracing.org/donate, and as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing, Inc., we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause of helping military veterans and first responders. We thank you for your generosity. And, of course, a huge presence here on iRacing.com, and everything that they do at Goat Locker is just amazing. I mean, it's what brought me right here to the booth. I mean, an incredible organization, and make sure that you head on over to goatlockerracing.org.
We had some big drama there on the pit strategy there. The top 3 cars all stayed out. Chance Taylor, Travis Trussell, Casey Jones stayed out on the racetrack, and then every single car behind them came down on that stop with the exception of Jacob Lanke and Kevin Price. 6th place, James Goshen, is the first car out of the pits in that 085. He's going to roll up in 6th on that restart with a fuel-only pit stop. The top 5 are now on their own fuel strategy, 14 laps different from the rest of the field.
You've got to wonder if the top 5 knows something that, everybody else didn't, because this is the kind of racetrack where, you've got to figure out who your friends are and who you can rely on. And, when you see a small pocket of drivers that are doing something different than everybody else, I always scratch my head and think, do they know something? Should I have done something with them? Or is it the perfect bluff, the perfect fake? As Findlay, Ohio's Kevin Price sits here in 5th position, holding down that top 5. Then James Goshen out of Cambridge, Ohio. So actually 3 Ohioans in a row here in the 085 Bass Pro Shops machine holds things down in 6th position. He's up 17 spots, and our big mover of the race so far is Kevin Price in the 80, as he is up 24 after starting in 29th.
I think those top 3 cars got faked out. They kind of faked going into the pits and they stayed out, and I think the thought process was, especially for those guys like Trussell and Casey Jones, that everyone behind them was going to stay out with them. I think if they knew that every car behind them, with the exception of Jacob Lanke and Kevin Price, was going to come into the pits, they probably would have came in too, just to be on the same fuel strategy as those guys. I think it's really risky here, especially if we have a green flag run to the end, that those cars run out of fuel here and kind of be stuck to do a 2 or 3 car tandem while everybody else rockets around them in a big pack.
And when we go back green flag racing, which will be just in a few moments, it's going to be Chance Taylor, Travis Trussell, Casey Jones, Jacob Lanke, Kevin Price, James Goshen, David Calvert, Joseph McWhorter, Jamie Libke, and Mark Whitley. And, you mentioned it earlier, and Libke working her way up through the field, now going to be restarting in 9th position, just getting that full tank of fuel. So I'm curious to see if those guys in the top 5 do have to come down, as Chance Taylor out of New Bern, North Carolina, leads us down the backstretch behind the iRacing.com pace car.
Half a lap to go before we go back green here on lap 27. It's going to be a pretty similar front field here. Still be Chance Taylor, Travis Trussell, Casey Jones up front. We'll have some new cars rolling off 4th and 5th. Some drivers who are a little further back in the field use that pit stop as an opportunity to stay out, take a little bit of a risk on fuel, but really move themselves up the field. And then you've got some of the other cars like James Goshen, David Calvert, Joseph McWhorter, who are all running up front there before that caution, who have come down, put fuel on it, and they're right back out in the back half of the top 10. Pace car is going to pull off here as we roll out of turn 4, and it'll be Chance Taylor from 13 to 1 in this race, rolling off on the front row next to Travis Trussell in the 41. Pace car comes in. We're rolling now into the restart zone, and the 14 is off. Good jump for Chance Taylor as we go back green.
Yeah, this is one of the few places that you don't want to get too good of a jump over whoever is behind you, because you leave too much of a gap. They're going to get a run. Oh! The 72 of Joseph McWhorter shoots down through the infield. Good God.
And we got a big wreck.
And all of a sudden, we are wrecking everywhere.
Huge crash down there in turn 1. We still haven't thrown the caution for that.
They're on the grass. We stay green.
There it goes. Now's the caution. That was about
kidding.
5 or 6 cars pretty heavily involved there. I would have been shocked if a caution did not get thrown after that one. We're going to take you to the V-Speed replay. This starts a little bit further back. This is Goshen up there on the outside being pushed by that 72, Joseph McWhorter on that top line. And McWhorter tries to cut down in front of the 35, gets dumped to the infield and comes back up. Massive, massive hit with that 46 car of Kyle O'Danick.
I got to tell you, just watching, if we go back again and seeing when McWhorter comes back onto the racetrack, I mean, the caution should have automatically come out. I think iRacing was just slightly delayed, because you definitely shouldn't be looking into the whites of the eyes of the driver behind you. In fact, here it comes down the front stretch. Now he gets down here to the apron, fine. But once he gets up here and hit, and the 46 drives into him, that caution should have flown, and it was definitely delayed. So some of those drivers may not have known that there was a crisis in front of them.
Well, I think we are doing manual cautions here, so race control will have to throw it if we get a yellow like that. A lot of cars going to be taking that faster pair if they still have it. McWhorter in particular is doing a crab walk right now down the pit lane into his pit box. You'll see it here. He's going to get it in there. That's a great job to get it into the box. Woo.
Now, if he has the fast repair, that is going to be the craziest fast repair change in the world. His wheel, if he has a direct drive, might spin itself crazy getting back in line.
He does got the fast repair, so he'll take it. He'll put some fuel in the car. He'll get it right back out like nothing ever happened, and he'll start at the tail end of the lead lap.
There you have it, folks. The magic of virtual racing, brought to you by the fine folks at iRacing.
There you go. It's going to be a pretty similar front pack with some shakeups there in the midfield as a result of that accident. Chance Taylor, Casey Jones still up on your front row. Trussell drop back to 5th, so it'll be Lanky and Kevin Price going off 3rd and 4th. James Goshen up to 6th here. Mark Whitley 7th. Jamie Libke is 8th.
We've got a mess.
Barrett Morton your top 10.
I've got a mess down here on pit road. I couldn't even begin to tell you what exactly happened. But something tells me they couldn't get their act together coming down pit road.
It looks like from my angle, Sedarius Dias might have missed his pit box, kind of got held up by a couple cars who were trying to leave their box, come in at the same time as him, slowed down to a complete stop in an attempt to make his box, and then a crash unfolded as the 79 kind of ran right into the back of him, trying to get into his box.
Oy.
And we also had another car stopped on pit road because Tyler White missed his pit box entirely and was trying to reverse in. So we had 2 cars stopped on pit road, basically right next to each other, and a couple cars tried to funnel through the middle to dodge.
Every guy's problem trying to get into the box. Chance Taylor coming up back to the race lead, followed by Casey Jones, Jacob Lanke, Kevin Price, and James Goshen. That's going to be your top 5. Those drivers, now, here's the thing. Chance Taylor and Casey Jones haven't been in since lap 10. Lap 13 for Lanke, 15 for Kevin Price. James Goshen finally took everybody else's advice, came in on 24, but Trussell and company came in on 28.
Pretty varying pit strategy. I think coming in, lap 28 will get you good on fuel to the end, likely no matter what here. I think 25 is a bit on the edge, but if we keep getting cautions like we have been, that is likely going to work because they'll be able to save enough fuel here under yellow. Those cars who pit 10 or more laps ago are still absolutely going to need to make a pit stop, so we'll see how long they stay out.
It's been a great race so far. 21 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway. Dave Regal, Sky Shrek, and Matamoros, Pennsylvania's very own Michael McCarthy with you here in the V-Speed broadcast booth. Want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening and welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. Of course, we also want to thank our friends at Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in an industrial environment and everything in between. We've got you covered with the endless, and they really do mean endless amounts of safety products on the market. We want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series couldn't exist without those folks, and what a product it is.
For sure, pace car will take him down the back straightaway here, and we'll get ready to go in just a second as we come back around to take lap 31 here at the green flag. We're running out of time in this race, and I think the intensity, if it could ramp up any more from what we've seen in the first half, is just going to get even higher as these drivers kind of enter panic mode. With so few laps left, they know if they're going to make it to the front, they need to do it now, and they're certainly going to be pushing all out to try and make that happen right here. We're going to come around, as I mentioned, 31 to go. It'll still be Chance Taylor and Casey Jones on the front row as it was last restart. Jacob Lanke will move up to 3rd. Kevin Price will move up to 4th. First car who pit on lap 25 will be Goshen, followed by the other cars on that strategy. Libke, Houchin, and Alan Smith. Everybody else pit on that last lap. Pace car will pull down. We'll see who gets the better jump as we enter the restart zone. Pretty equal. There goes Chance Taylor off to the front straightaway.
Chance Taylor drops the hammer, and we go back underway. The High Line gets a slow start back here. The 21 and the 44 couldn't get on pace with everybody else. They're going to collect the 45 now of Cedarius Diaz, who's now trying desperately to get to the low side and get back on pace. Meanwhile, Chance Taylor and company run away from those folks that didn't get a great start. And the 80 of Kevin Price building up all kinds of momentum, getting a good push from Jamie Libke. And don't look now, 3 wide. Here comes the 0-2 of Michael Jones saying, I can do it, and shoves the 16 to the middle in this 3 wide sandwich. I'll tell you what, folks, that's something you don't like to hear when the spotter comes on the radio and says 3 wide, you're the meat.
Absolutely. The 0-2 is a little bit into the wall up there, and he's really got no help, which is not going to go well for him unless he can get someone in that line with him. 21 looked like he was going to come up, Levi McCarty there, to try and help that 0-2 car, but he got blocked by the car in front of him, wasn't able to make it happen, and the 0-2 will pull back in, will stay 2 wide. He's 3rd in line on that top. Outside lane leader, Kevin Price. He's going to try to get some momentum here down the back straightaway to close in on that top 4 on the inside of Goshen, Lanke, Casey Jones, and Chance Taylor. Here comes the 80. That outside line is a huge run down into turns 3 and 4, and they've picked up 2 positions.
With 19 laps to go, Jamie Libke pushing Kevin Price around in the 80. It looks like they've practiced this before. The 0-2 all over the rear bumper. Now the 21. Oh, the 21 with contact. Oh.
That was close. We almost got an accident back there as they tried to go 3 wide. That was a great save by John Houchin to keep that.
John Houchin's going to need a new fire suit after that one because there's a stain on the seat for sure.
Absolutely. Him and Levi McCarty really got into it there. Speaking of Levi McCarty, I mentioned him at the start of the race, was rolling off 31st. He's always fast here in Goat Locker Racing. Haven't seen him at all today, but he's got that car up in the top 10 when it matters the most.
Man, I love watching these cars on this racetrack. This is my favorite place in the entire world, and this is why. 18 laps to go. We're double file coming into the tri-oval. Chance Taylor thinks he's got something going, but right now it looks like Kevin Price has something else up his sleeve. He says, not so fast.
Oh, we're 4 wide at the back. We're wrecking.
Oh, that's not going to help. That's not helpful.
No, sorry for cutting you off there. Jacob Ellingson just kind of got up the racetrack. We got stacked up. We got 4 wide, and it was not going to end well. Ellingson got put up the track a little bit, caught Sean Kaiser in the 29 car, David Calvert in 35. Heavy damage for those 3 cars.
Going back to the replay, I mean, they went 4 wide. That's, first of all, absolutely not acceptable by any stretch of the term. And I realize, and prom season just ended, but that's no way to ask somebody to dance.
And the 29 is going to voice a little displeasure there with the 27 after that incident, but I don't really think that was Ellingson's fault. Just kind of got a big stack up there as the 35 tried to get down the front straightaway, and Ellingson had to deal with the 72 car who was trying to blend back up from the apron. There's not a lot of space for any of those cars to go. You see Kaiser taking that big hit right there.
Yeah, Kaiser in the 29 has got to be pretty frustrated, but you know, again, sometimes I think, especially during a race like this, you can maybe misplace some of your frustration, some of your anger. You know, I wouldn't hold it against him, so to speak.
Well, I think he's also dealing with the fact that that car does not look to be driving straight. Yeah, there you go. He's got that wheel turned about 180 degrees the wrong direction, trying to get that car straight into the pit. So that probably certainly did not help that contact with Ellingson.
No, Kaiser is going to be a very angry fella driving back to Bellingham, Massachusetts. That's for sure. He's not happy. Let's hope that he's got the old fast repair. Let's see what happens. Do we watch the magic or no? And he does.
He does have it, so he'll be right back out. 6 seconds, quick pit stop.
Well, then it's not going to be near as quiet of a ride back. See, that's one of those where once you put the thing back on the hauler and you're riding back to the shop, you're thinking to yourself, don't talk to me, just leave me alone.
And we are seeing pit stops here from all those cars who did not pit on the last time. A lot of cars making the move down pit road, but a lot of cars still staying out. I think a surprising amount are coming down here. We're going to have the top 6 or 7 who did not make the move down, but everyone behind them will come down, put fuel, maybe some tires on it. Brett Bieber in the 808 is the last car to stay out.
13 cars come for quick pick service down on pit road. Michael Jones cycles to the lead. He's going to be just ahead of John Houchin, Levi McCarty, Travis Trussell, Barrett Morton, and Noah Hoagie Hogard. That's my man Hoagie, and I'll tell you what, Hoagie has one of those followings on YouTube that is just this side of entertaining all in of itself.
Absolutely. You want to plug it there if you know the channel?
No. I mean, literally, these people are watching him race continually. I mean, they just sit there. They love watching Hogard. And last season, they were just riding him all night. It made it kind of interesting for a while.
There you go. It helps to have some cheerleaders there in the racetrack, always. It's really nice looking after the race, too, and seeing everyone cheering for you.
Yeah, and make sure to give us a like, subscribe, and turn on those bell notifications so you can be told every time we go live right here on V-Speed, especially on a Monday night. There it is. There's the Hoagie crew from Smaller's SS. I'm back, baby, as it's week 1 here. I mean, some of the folks that follow us on YouTube just make it exciting to get into the booth every Monday night.
Absolutely, and we've got a great field out here, too. This is going to be a great 8-week series coming up. We've got a lot of great drivers out here that I'm really excited to watch race. Some regulars from the ARCA series, some regular from the truck series that I was commentating last fall on Fridays, or last spring on Fridays, excuse me. It's a very diverse field, and we've got a lot of very competitive drivers, which is going to make this quite fun. It's going to be Mikhail Jones on that front row. John Houchin will line up second. And Levi McCarty, we mentioned him, has had a very quiet race, slowly worked his way through the field, and with 14 to go, he'll be third.
Restarting in fourth position going to be Travis Trussell, and fifth is going to be Barrett Morton. That's your start restarting top five. Levi McCarty out of Muncie, Pennsylvania, here in his Ford Mustang using that Ford Motorcraft Wood Brothers paint scheme. You know, it wouldn't be, at least in my opinion, my humble opinion, or at least I'll pretend to be humble, it wouldn't be a race at Daytona without a Wood Brothers paint scheme. It feels better.
Yeah, that paint scheme is so iconic, especially when it comes to this track. Even, you know, recent moments like Harrison Burton's win, you really can't do a Daytona race without it. We don't have it up there on the broadcast. We've been having some technical difficulties with the paint schemes here tonight, but if you were in session, he's running a Wood Brothers Classic 21 paint scheme, and it's a real nice car there for his ARCA machine.
Another Pennsylvania fella doing us proud. Michael Jones bringing us down the backstretch behind the iRacing.com pace car. And as I mentioned, another new driver. And Michael Jones, the biggest mover and can't move any higher on the timing tower right now, plus 30 as he sits to the inside of row number one on the inside of John Houchin in the 44. So a Ford, a Toyota, and a Chevrolet in our top three. That's something you don't get to see. And I think that's what's really neat about these new ARCA cars. Of course, we say new, but the newly digitized ARCA cars here on iRacing.com. We finally get all three manufacturers, and this league has a really nice mix of just about everybody, you know, manufacturer-wise. But that aside, the iRacing.com pace car brings us out of turn number 4. Michael Jones with control of the field. The iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. Jones going to have control, hits the Geico restart zone, lets it fly, and we're back underway.
A little bit squirrely up there on the top. Some cars moving up and down in that line, and that'll give a great jump to the bottom. Mikhail Jones already gone along with Levi McCarty. John Houchin there is soaring that 9 car of Barrett Morton onto the apron, and Morton turns him around. Houchin is sideways through the grass. No caution as he stayed off the racetrack.
Oh, I hate to interrupt you, but Houchin has got to be madder than a hornet. His nest just got kicked. Michael Jones and Levi McCarty in the 21, now running away from the rest of the field. Wait till you watch Barrett Morton and company gobble them up like it's Thanksgiving dinner. This is going to be incredible.
Those cars are going to gain so fast. You've got a whole pack of about 20 drivers here versus those top 2 who are out running alone right now. It's going to be a pretty big speed difference, and I think those top 2 will just hope to hold the lead of the inside or outside line if they decide to move right there, depending on what they do down into this corner. Looking at the speed gap right now, Mikhail Jones, Levi McCarty going about 182. Barrett Morton coming off the corner is going to be up to 184 pretty quickly here. With the speed difference really evident once they get going down the straightaway, although Barrett Morton is also not driving as hard as he could. He might be saving some fuel in that 9 car.
Watch the 41. Now the 14th of Chance Taylor slides in front to slow the progress down. But the 41 of Travis Trussell was just running like crazy, you know. And here with 12 laps to go, they're trying to make up as much real estate as possible. The 45 and the 9 almost having trouble trying to catch Jones and McCarty. I mean, if we look at that gap here in the lower right-hand, we're going to watch that number get slower and slower. There's McCarty and there's Taylor. And
there goes Morton.
Uh-oh. Oh, we stay green. Stay green.
Stay green. Yeah, Morton. That was a matter of time. Morton was saving a lot of fuel there in front of the pack. He was barely on the throttle. That's why he wasn't catching. Some of those cars further back there, like Sidarius Dias, wanted to get to the front. They didn't really want to save as much as Barrett Morton did. He kind of got shoved out of line there as a result. The issue is this is going to really shake that second pack up, and they're going to need to reorganize before they can get back up to those top 2.
Yeah, the crazy thing is we were just, maybe I was talking a little too much smack early, but it looks like Jones and McCarty holding their own up there as Chance Taylor gapped by about 1.2 seconds behind them, and Taylor and the 41 of Trussell now breaking away from the rest of the pack. The 158 of Hogard now trying to hold off the 45 and the 00 all at once. Bad things are going to happen when you try to do two things at once. And here comes the 45 of Sedarius Deus. Oh my. It's starting to get hairy. And watch the 74. We go 3 wide. Here's Whitley. As he was nearly on the left, or I'm sorry, the right rear quarter panel of the 9, he goes double file. And the 72 now of McWhorter, the meat in a 3 wide sandwich.
I'll tell you what, Taylor is absolutely not saving. He wants to get up here to the lead. He's good on fuel. He hit about 6 laps to go, and he can go to the end. There is no worry about that 14 car. It is pedal to the metal from here on out. And you're seeing how much quicker this line is catching up to those top 2, and they have Taylor out in front of it versus when they had Barrett Morton out in front of it, because they are there. That gap of 1.5 seconds has been erased in no time, and I think Taylor is likely going to try to cut up the track here to get ahead of him. Yes, he will.
There they go, catching up and now starting to close everything back up. Put a little bit more organization here into the race as the 808, oh my, here comes Beamer splitting down the middle. The 14 almost gets out of the way just for his own safety. The 808 comes across the nose of the 02 and goes through the grass. That's going to perhaps bring out a caution. Let's see if we stay green. We do. 8 laps to go. Chance Taylor, your race lead, and
there's the caution.
So there it is. And punting himself was Brett Bieber. That has got to be just angering.
Well, we're going to have a short run now, only about 3 or 4 laps to the end of this race, pending any green-white checkers we might add on to tonight. I think a lot of these cars are going to be good on fuel, but the question is mostly going to be Sedarius Deus, Levi McCarty. Can they make it to the end, or might they need to save?
Yeah, and we're going to see a lot of guys starting to cycle their engines off and on. Maybe giving those ignition boxes a break for a while. Brett Bieber going to be cycling all the way back to 20th position. That is, he's one of the most talented drivers here in the ARCA series, and that's going to be frustrating for him. But of course, you were talking about the green-white checker possibility, folks. If you don't understand what we're talking about, basically it is NASCAR overtime. Now tonight we have 2 opportunities to go to the green-white checker, which would basically be with 2 laps to go, the green flag flies. We race around back to the white flag. If something should bring out the caution between the waving of the green flag and the white flag, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. But we only get to do that twice. However, if you make it safely back to the white flag, then you're racing back to checkers the whole way through. So, of course, we don't want to see any of that. We'd like to see this go nice and easy right to the end. But, folks, this is Daytona. The intensity is cranked up beyond insane.
All of these drivers are going to be going all out to get this win here. And one thing I've noticed over the course of this race is that a lot of these cautions have come from the front. Usually when you see a lot of wrecks at a track like Daytona or Talladega, there are cautions that are coming from the rear of the field, maybe from the mid-pack. Almost all of the accidents today have come from within the first 10 cars. So these leaders are being aggressive, and that's only going to ramp up when that white flag and that checkered flag is in sight and they know that it's all on the line.
And you don't blame them. You do it too, and I would do it too. Anybody behind the wheel, to get your name on the trophy here at Daytona is an accomplishment, no matter what level of racing you're at, whether it's ARCA trucks, Xfinity, or Cup Series, of course, with the Harley J. Earl Trophy. But, this is NASCAR's most historic and famous track. Of course, Turn 4 is where we lost Dale Earnhardt February 18th, 2001. It's where Richard Petty won multiple Daytona 500s. And there are drivers forever that say, hey, listen, yeah, it's nice to win a championship, but it's even better to be called the Daytona 500 winner. So, no matter what level you're at, this place holds its importance.
Absolutely. We're going to go back green here with it looks like 4 to go. The lights on the pace car likely to go off this time, and we will have a 4-lap shootout to the end, barring any overtime green-white checkered shenanigans here that might extend the race. And we've definitely got a chance to get those. If there is ever a track to go to a green-white checkered, it is Daytona. With how intense the racing here gets over the last 2 laps, it can never be counted out. It's going to be Chance Taylor on that front row. He is good on fuel. We know that. With this caution, I think Cedarius Dias is likely also good on fuel running second. He's pit about 7 laps earlier than Taylor did. The risk for him is if we get 2 green-white checkers, he might be in trouble. James Goshen will roll off third. He's good on fuel. Mikhail Jones, Barrett Morton, Levi McCarty are all on that same strategy as Dias. We saw Barrett Morton trying to save under green there, so that might be a fuel concern for that 9 car. This caution will help him, but if we get another green-white checkered, he might be in trouble. Everyone there on back, Alan Smith, Casey Jones, David Calvert, should be good on fuel to the end with the exceptions of Trussell and Hogard, who are on that who hit 16 laps to go there, 10th and 12th respectively. The lights on the pace car are going to go off this time around. It'll be 4 to go when we go back green. And we're going to see how this shakes out for Chance Taylor up front.
Yeah, Chance Taylor has the weight of the world on his shoulders, and right now, the last place that you want to be, especially on a restart at Daytona, is the lead, because those guys behind you are loading up the energy in those cars, and they're waiting to unleash that. And, of course, speaking of unleashing things, we want to unleash your power. Thanks to Lincoln Tech, Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They're one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they're a huge partner of Goat Locker Racing, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series right here on V-Speed. Dave Regal and, of course, Sky Schreck with you on our maiden voyage together with the pride of Matamoros, Pennsylvania, Michael McCarthy at the 1s and 2s and everything in between. And I'll tell you what, man, for our first time together, this feels like the perfect fitting glove, and, you know, this is definitely not the OJ case.
You got me there.
That's what I'm here for.
We're going to go green here this time out of 4. It's going to be Chance Taylor, who's been first on so many of these restarts, rolling off there on the inside of this one again. Cedarius Dias, haven't seen him in this position all race, but he's got a chance to try to steal this lead away. He'll be rolling off second. Mikhail Jones, James Goshen have been working their way up to the front all race. 3rd and 4th. Barrett Morton got punted out of line, but he's kept it steady. He'll roll off 5th here on this restart. Pace car will pull in as we enter the pits. Chance Taylor, Cedarius Dias, and in the restart zone, we're green. Good jump for Chance Taylor. And we're already wrecking at the back. We got some cars down through the infield. We'll stay green. A lot of stack ups, but no one goes around.
Not a bad thing that gets some of the people out of the way, but now the 45 with a run, they're going to tag the back of the 14. He's got to check up, and now that opens the door for the 85. The 45 almost trying to push the 14 back up the speed. It's not going to work as the Prime 9 machine of Barrett Morton pushes the 085 of James Goshen up to the lead. Chance Taylor now dropping back out of the way, and oh no, the 54 with a little bit of a connection issue. They're starting to shuffle around like a deck of cards in a casino as we're 4 laps to go here at Daytona International Speedway, week 1 in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. The finger-licking good 00 KFC machine now pushes the 34. And Casey Jones has a rearview mirror full of Alan Smith as Goshen and Morton start to run away.
Barrett Morton was saving fuel. He's not doing it anymore. He is trying to push Goshen out there to the lead of this race, but he's going to get swallowed up pretty quickly by Casey Jones in the 34. He's actually going to let off the gas a little bit, hurt his run there. To stay third on the outside, we're getting squirrely on the outside, and here we go. Dias and McCarty through the infield spinning, and the caution is out as Levi McCarty comes back up onto the racetrack.
7th caution of the night with 3 laps to go. That is going to be NASCAR overtime here, unfortunately. But it may be unfortunate for the drivers, but for us here, we get some bonus racing as folks were getting ready to get their popsicle sticks in the air. But now it's time to think about your strategy, how you're going to get around those cars, because with the few laps that it'll be with the green-white checker situation, getting up to full speed and really letting your car hum is almost impossible.
Yeah, you really don't get up to full speed until about turn 1 or the back straightaway on that final lap. So the jump you get here, the runs you get right at the start of this green-white checkered can make all the difference. It's going to be a 2-lap shootout. You see the replay right there. Just gets hooked in that 14 back down the racetrack into McCarty and Dias. No one took any major damage there. McCarty did seem to make it out okay. Everybody slowed up behind them, stayed out of that one.
I do feel like I feel like I've been slightly attacked. I just saw here in our behind the curtain area, if you will, that we do have an all Pennsylvania booth. Of course, you said that you were born in Allentown. My apologies. At least you have AAA baseball there now. But according to Eddie Smith, a certain phrase is not allowed, and we don't have to worry about that here.
Look, the yellow football team from Pennsylvania. Not a fan.
No.
We can say that. He won't yell at us if we say that.
All I'm saying is that I'm ashamed of the team of which I support for football season.
Could be worse. You could be a Panthers fan. Back up front, James Goshen, Barrett Morton still on that front row there after getting some good jumps. Those are two drivers that have come all the way through the field tonight. James Goshen started 23rd. Barrett Morton 22nd, although I think these cautions will help him, but if we get another green and white checkered, might be a little bit of fuel trouble for that 9 car based on when he last pit. He did not want to see that caution come out. Casey Jones has been up front all race season 3rd. Alan Smith and Mikhail Jones, Chance Taylor, your top 6. Only 1 car in your top 6 started in the top 10 tonight. That's Casey Jones.
And you know, folks, you see 7 cautions on the on the timing tower, and here's the thing: that's not indicative of the way that this league runs. This is not the average performance. This is Daytona doing Daytona things. Some people, they think, 7 cautions on the night. This is taking forever. First of all, 50 laps at Daytona in an hour and 6 minutes of race time. You're doing pretty good. Second of all, and more importantly, it's the first race of the season. There's a lot of nerves involved. And finally, it's Daytona. It generates this kind of energy, this kind of racing. So when you tune in next week, and of course the rest of the season right here on V-Speed with Sky, myself, and Michael, you're not going to see 7 cautions on the board. Sometimes you might not see any.
Yeah, we're going to Kentucky next week. That'll be a lot cleaner. That track's got a lot of space to move. A lot of chances to move your way up through the field there without being really around any other cars because it is so wide. Darlington as well will be a pretty good one. I'm really excited. In 4 weeks, we go to Homestead. Or in 3 weeks, we go to Homestead. It's on the 23rd. That, no matter what car you're in, no matter what drivers you got, Homestead will always put on a show, and I'm so glad we have that on the schedule. It'll be our return to Florida. It'll be great.
Yeah, I've actually spent the last 2 seasons going down to the Homestead race in Miami, and my God, that place is incredible. I mean, the 2 days of Truck and Xfinity on Saturday and Cup on Sunday, just great shows overall in the real world, and the virtual world makes it even better.
For sure. Homestead is such a great track, and I'm excited for that. There's a lot of races on the schedule I'm excited for. These cars at Atlanta, the old style Atlanta, will be really good. Bristol, I think another good one. We've got a lot of diversity on the schedule coming up here. A lot of different tracks. Right now, though, we've got to have 2 to go at Daytona when we go back green here to decide our race tonight. James Goshen in the catbird seat there on pole for this restart. He is in first. Barrett Morton will be second. Casey Jones third. Alan Smith fourth. Don't count out anyone further back. Chance Taylor has led a bunch of laps tonight, running in sixth. Mikhail Jones running in fifth. And then some guys further back who have had great runs. Mark Whitley, we've seen him up front a lot. He'll be rolling off in ninth on this restart. David Calvert also back there in row 4. A lot of chances for some drivers who are a little further back in the field to make their way to the front. If there is a track where you're going to go 8th to 1st in 2 laps to claim a win, it is Daytona. Anything is possible here, and if you're in this lead pack, you've got a shot at it. All of these drivers know that, and all of them are going to be going flat out here until the end of the race. No lifting allowed. It's going to be fun with 2 to go. The pace car will pull into the pits. It's Goshen on the inside, Morton on the outside. We're green in the restart zone for James Goshen.
Goshen gets a decent jump, but Barrett Morton says, hold my beer, I've got a better run here on the high side. Alan Smith now running just behind, starts to draft up to the rear of the 9. The 9's got a little bit of speed, but not enough to get around the 085 yet. He needs that push from the 00. He gets it mid-turn and holds the wheel
wrecking.
straight.
Caution is out.
Wrecking, and there's the caution. This is going to be our second green-white checker.
So we are going to go to that final green-white checkered attempt. Cars wrecked back there. Jake Ellingson, Christian Angel, Brandon Wallace all heavily involved. Looks like some damage for the 37 to Jacob Lanky as well. Took some hits in that accident. Brock Price, Kevin Price as well. You're going to see the replay here.
The 37 took a really good lick. That's actually where this thing originated. If we can get right there to the 37 on the replay. You know, just a bad situation aggravated by, you know, the green-white checker. And there it is, getting the spin from the 29 and being spun down through the infield and just collecting everybody.
Yeah, he tried to drop it down there in front of Sean Kaiser, but he was not at all clear. And the race control has disqualified Jacob Lanky for the session, so he is done for the night.
Oof, that's a rough start to your season. Probably not going to be happy. There more than likely will be a penalty moving forward as we get everybody racked and stacked and ready to go again. Of course, you had mentioned that we're going to Kentucky next week, so I'll bring the bourbon. And that'll be a home track for Barrett Morton here in the 9 Prime machine.
He's leading the race right now, but as mentioned, he is approaching the upper bounds of that fuel window. A lot of it has been under caution, so he's been able to save a lot more than he would if we went 23 laps green. By the time we take the green flag, he will have gone 25 laps on this tank of gas, which is about the maximum we were thinking of green flag racing. I think he will make it because of the amount of caution laps that we've had to end this race, but he's definitely going to be looking at that fuel gauge. Might be a little tight inside of that 9 car. Everyone behind him has enough back to 6, so he's got some cars back there who will swoop in to try to take it if he does have any issues, including James Goshen, Alan Smith, and Casey Jones.
As we get ready to go back green flag racing, drivers going to have to make some really tough decisions. Who's going to be your friend? And at this point, the question truly becomes, is anybody your friend? And it's every person for themselves right now, at least for my money.
It is everybody for themselves because everybody wants to get the win here to open up this season. It's going to be a great finish here because everyone is going to really try to push their way to the front. That's just how it works at Daytona. We've mentioned it all night. These finishes get wild. You're going to see one right here.
Going to be Barrett Morton bringing us back to green, the iRacing.com pace car with its lights still on. They should be going out this time by. And of course, you know, I gotta say, for our maiden voyage, I think it's pretty safe to say we could bring this ship right into port with next to no problems and apparently no major issues. That's not a bad way to start the season.
I think some of these drivers are going to hope they had a better way to start the season because we've only got 17 cars on the lead lap right now. So many cars damaged out of the race. Houchin, Sisk, both Sisks, White, Knights, Ellingson, O'Danick, Macedo, Feltz, Baker, all out of the race early with some damage. But the focus right now on this restart is going to be up at the front of the field. We're going to have the lights on the pace car go out this time as we come out of turn 4 and cross the start-finish line. And it'll be one more time for Barrett Morton, James Goshen to check their belts, to get ready, and to lock in for these last 2 laps.
I think we've got a chance here to see some reckless speculation. I got a feeling that Chance Taylor isn't through yet, and we might see Chance Taylor bring this one into victory lane. What say you, Sky?
I think my pick right now is going to be Mikhail Jones because he started out back in 31st, and he's driven that car up to 6th. 31st to the win tonight would be a huge drive through the field for that 0-2 car, and you know he wants to make it happen.
Yeah, I looked at Mikhail Jones, but I was torn between Chance and Jamie Libke, and I mean, between those two drivers who I've gotten the chance, the chance. See what I did there? That's marketing. But I've gotten the chance to watch both of them, and I got a feeling. I could be wrong. It could be indigestion or gas. You never know.
We'll see if that feeling is correct here coming down the end of this race.
Barrett Morton going to control us as it's going to be Morton, Goshen, Smith, Jones, Taylor, Jones, Libke, Calvert, McWhorter, and Whitley. And, I'm looking back here at Whitley out of Wilmington, North Carolina, and he's one of those dark horse candidates that if he gets the right run, get out of his way. He was our Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award winner, and, of course, that's something that you certainly can't discount. And we do want to thank our friends at Jam Printing and Promotions. They are local and they are veteran certified. And when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company.
We got some Jam Printing and Promotion logos on some of these cars out here that are running up in the top 5. Safe 22 as well, another partner at Goat Locker Racing. On the back of Chance Taylor, who will be in a 5th as we head down for the final overtime in this race. It'll be 2 laps to decide it all. Barrett Morton on pole. James Goshen on the outside. Pace car is in. Morton jumps immediately. We're green at Daytona.
Alan Smith a little loose here as the Popsicle 6 go in the air. We're 2 laps to go. Smith got loose down on the double yellow line. That's a little slick, but watch the 34. Here comes Casey Jones with a push now from the 0-2 of Mikhail Jones. Jones goes to the inside, spins. Oh, this is going to end it. And Barrett Morton is going to pick up the win as the as the caution flag flies, as we've now completed the second green-white checker attempt. So we are going to finish under caution, and Barrett Morton going to be named tonight's race winner and joined on the podium by Alan Smith and Chance Taylor.
Your finishing order will be frozen there with that caution coming out with 2 to go. And the way it looks right now on your ticker is the way it will be scored here to end this race. Barrett Morton will get the lead. Alan Smith, James Goshen, Chance Taylor, all going to be kicking themselves that they didn't get a chance to go for it here at the end. It's going to be David Calvert, 5th. Mikhail Jones brings it home 6th. Casey Jones, 7th. Jamie Libke, remember, not Jamie Libke. Jamie Libke will be 9th. It'll be Joseph McWhorter bringing it home 8th. And then Travis Trussell will be the final car in your top 10 tonight. Everybody is going to pace 1 more lap here. Back to the checkered flag. And once they get there, it'll be Barrett Morton.
And some people try to discount finishing a race under caution, but even the greatest drivers of all time, see Dale Earnhardt Sr. winning the 1998 Daytona 500 under caution. It happened. It is what it is. And it doesn't matter whether there's yellow next to that checkered flag or not. Once the checkered flag flies, you have your name on that trophy. I mean, that's what this is all about. And tonight it goes to Barrett Morton. And Louisville, Kentucky has got a slugger for him, that's for sure.
He's been a driver that's really come on here over the last couple months in Goat Locker Racing. He pulled off a big upset win towards the end of the Friday Truck Series season. And in the first race of the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series for the Summer Series, he's going to do it again. Under caution, Barrett Morton is going to come to the line, and he will take the win tonight at Daytona.
A little caution flag alignment there, and I'll tell you what, that was a nice moment as Barrett Morton crossed the start-finish line. He only led 6 laps, but he led the most important lap, the last one, as he is going to burn it down here just past the start-finish line. And you know what? Whether you led 6 laps or 36 laps, the only one that counts is the final lap.
That's all that matters. brought it home in 6 laps led tonight, and most of those laps were under caution there on the green-white checkers. He got a lot of that done right at the end of the race where it mattered the most.
We're going to come back to the infield here and do a donut right across the Daytona logo. I mean, you know, I figured the groundskeepers did enough now as he's going to dig right in and across that white paint. Why not ruin their work?
Absolutely. We're going to take you to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have results and interviews from your top 3. Stay tuned. We're back here at Daytona, and we're going to get your results from our opening race of the Glove Station ARCA Summer Series. Barrett Morton starts 22nd, brings it home with the victory over the 00 of Alan Smith and the 14 of Chance Taylor on your podium tonight. James Goshen finishes 4th in the 085, David Calvert 5th in the 35. Mikhail Jones goes 31-6 in the 02, Jamie Libke 7th in the 16 car. There we go. Mark Whitley, 8th in the 74. Joseph McWhorter, 9th in the 72. And Travis Trussell, 10th in the 41.
Moving on to 11th position, of course, our good friend there in the 21, Levi McCarty. He comes home after gaining 19 spots in 11th. Brett Bieber out of Oley, Pennsylvania comes home in 12th, while Sean Kaiser wraps things up in 13th position after starting in 11th. Deus comes home in 14th after starting 24th, so gaining 10 positions, not bad at all. Noah Hoagie Hogard gets the 158 home in 15th position, while Bobby Whitley comes home in 16th. 17th goes to Casey Jones after losing 11 spots, and Brandon Wallace, Jacob Lenke, and Jake Ellingson round out your top 20.
Start finishing back from there. Rounding out your field, it'll be Christian Angel in the 79, 21st. Brock Price, 22nd. John Houchin, 23rd. Ricky Sisk Jr. will finish 24th, one spot ahead of Colton Sisk in 25th. Tyler White, Doug Ellingson, Matt Knights, Kyle Odanek, Douglas Macedo will round out your top 30. And back from there, it'll be Chuck Feltz, Ryzen Baker, and disqualified from the race, Jacob Lanke. We're going to get straight into interviews here, and we're going to call up to the booth your winner tonight. That's the 9 car, Barrett Morton. How you doing, Barrett?
Really good now.
How does it feel to get the win like that?
I'll take it any way I can get it. It's honestly like my first ever restricted plate race win, and first time ever doing it in these cars. So that was a lot of fun.
It was really a race of attrition. I mean, we even saw you kind of get moved out of line there and have a moment down on the apron. How'd you survive all the accidents today and hold on to win?
Surviving the accidents, I don't know. I was in one of the first accidents they had. There wasn't a caution, so I had to go right down pit road and get a fast pair. Eventually, caution came out, and I got my lap back and everything. And then, after like running third, I got just a bad bump. I think sent me in the apron, and I thought it was all over. Then I could have swore when I came back on the track, we were all going to wreck and stuff, and it was nuts. Before then, on a restart, don't know exactly what happened. I don't know, with some 41. I don't know who it was, but we made contact, and then it just kept bouncing off of each other, and I'm not real sure what happened. I'll have to go look at that. Hopefully, I don't get in trouble for that one, or I don't know. But sorry to whoever that was.
You've been on a bit of a hot streak recently in Goat Locker Racing. You took a win towards the end of the Premier Truck Series season. You got a win to kick off the ARCA Series. You think this will build some momentum for you over the next 8 weeks?
Well, I hope so. This series has been a lot of fun, and if it, we can just clean it up a little bit, and I think it brings a lot of action for sure, and a lot of newcomers. So I don't know. I really enjoyed this car.
All right. Anyone you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, all my teammates over at Bandits. Big shout out to Granny in Mississippi, and for finger licking for giving me a heck of a bump on that restart, and a good finish for Allen in second. All the Bandits guys, everybody over at Goat Locker. Um, Shoot, man, everything V Speed does. I'm looking for my read off here, man. I'm really bad at this right now. I don't even invets. Shoot, I don't even know who I'm supposed to thank. This isn't even here's the crazy thing, man. I just threw the scheme on here before I even got on the service, and they forgot to change the color of my number. So we'll see something different next week. I need to get with Jonah Colbert, get me a nice JC Graphics car.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to that next week at Kentucky. Congrats on the win, Barrett Morton.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
We're going to throw it down to Dave. He is going to be standing by with our second place finisher tonight, Alan Smith.
Alan Smith, Dave Regal up here in the broadcast booth to get a copy.
What you talking about? What's going on?
Man, I'm talking about you tonight. Listen, you finished last season in the championship 4 and pick up yourself the AM championship, and you just decide to come on up here to the podium to start this season off. What is going on under that hood?
I'll tell you what, man. I'm telling you what. If they keep putting those finger licking good motors under that hood, man, I'm gonna be doing great. But no, I'm having a blast, man. I just got lucky, made it up through there, followed some good people, some fast people, and it was fun racing. A lot of cautions and stuff, but just trying to keep my nose clean. Didn't even have to use my fast repair, so. But it was a lot of fun tonight. I enjoyed it. These races are always. You just never know with these restrictor plate races stuff. People are trying to push, and sometimes the push just goes wrong. But still a lot of fun. It was a good race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you gained 15 positions after starting in 17th, and that's a lot of traffic to get through. That's a lot of that's a lot of wrecks to get through. I mean, we've had more cautions tonight than I think we had in the last 3 races of the spring series. So, and that was combined. But here from North Mississippi, you're bringing home P2 tonight. What are you looking forward to as we turn our attention to next week going to Kentucky?
I always these kind of stress me out here, these restrictor plates. But I kind of like those races there that I kind of use my fuel saving and tire saving and stuff like that. So I really enjoy those races. I just enjoy racing with these people. They're such great people to race with. These guys are so fun. Get in here just they're just chanting for me, and it's just so fun to be an old guy up here racing with these young guys and having a good time. I just love hanging out with you guys at the end here. So what a great night.
We appreciate you, and I'm glad to be spending another season right here chatting with you. Hopefully at the end of most of these races, that's for sure. So congrats, man. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to and give a shout out to tonight?
Well, as you always know, I always thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for giving me eternal life and giving me the health and the ability to do this, to give me an amazing son, Eddie, who helps me and kind of keeps me going. My wife and him, they put me in some new equipment. And my mama, Granny, over in North Mississippi there, she's watching tonight. So, but yeah, also. Just Goat Locker. I love racing over here with these guys. Like I said, great organization. What they stand for, what they do, just amazing. Also, Jam Printing and Promotions. Also the Alexander PCs, and then of course I just want to thank iRacing, Yellow Line. I mean above the Yellow Line, and Macaroni setups for the setups that they provide and stuff. So macaroni, I call them macaroni. I'm sorry. It's Maconi. I'm sorry, but I call it macaroni.
Jeff doesn't mind, I promise. Listen, man, congrats once again, and we'll see you next week at Kentucky.
All right, appreciate it. See y'all.
That the voice of Alan Smith. And last but certainly not least on our podium, down on pit road now, I think is Chance Taylor with you, Sky.
Yeah, Chance, you got a copy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
You led a lot of laps tonight, 19 in total, but you couldn't take it home. Walk me through that kind of last sequence of cautions and kind of that last accident there that kind of set you back in third.
Well, I don't know what happened with that last accident. What was it, like 8 or 9 to go, and he trying to take it 3 wide on the backstretch, and I get right reared. I did everything I could to save it. It took me back to, I think, to like 6 or 7 spot there. Finally made my way back up. It was a fun race. I haven't been on a big track in a full season. Last season I did nothing but late models, so it was fun to get back out there and turn some laps.
How'd you survive all the chaos this race? I mean, we saw a lot of cautions, but you weren't really involved in any of them.
No, I made it through a few of them in the beginning of the race. I mean, squeezed right by and got lucky, really. Just tried to bide my time and try to stay to the inside unless I needed to make up some spots there, but just try to play it safe.
All right, anyone you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and Save 22, and you guys for putting on the broadcast here, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, congrats on P3 tonight, Chance Taylor.
Have a good night.
All right, well, that'll be the end of Daytona tonight. We got Kentucky next week. Dave, anything you want to add about Kentucky?
No, Kentucky's going to be an interesting, change of scenery, that's for sure. But I'm looking forward to it now that we get that first race out of the box here. Now we can really dig into the rest of the season now that those nerves have been taken care of. So I'm excited for next week as we get this first one in the books here at Daytona International Speedway. I think that this has just been an incredible experience.
All right, well, that'll conclude our coverage today. Make sure to like, subscribe to V-Speed for more Goat Locker Racing. For myself and Dave up here in the booth, Michael in the producer's chair, everybody else back at V-Speed and Goat Locker Racing. This has been the first race of the Glove Station ARCA Summer Series. Have a good night.